You know, I keep telling myself this is good. Destiny.
But
I thought, you know, if I ever left, it would be on my terms. I used to think I was invincible. Last couple of years, I have been. I mean, nothing could touch me.
Yourself, because obviously you couldn't hold on to your position.
I got touched.
Whether or not it was really your position to hold on to.
you're a lot like me.
I don't want to leave! Dump me for a young girl, how to do.
I really hope he doesn't kill himself. Where's my phone? You guys got that kid Blue. You might get yourself a ring right away with him.
Yo, Keira Whitaker, I love you.
And who is that?
Bryce Westbrook, #1 draft pick. The media calls me Blueprint because I'm about to change the face of football.
He's tied up right now.
Girl, I don't care about your tramfiness, okay? I'm trying to help that boy out. Now, excuse you.
1 minute, me and Dude are hanging out around draft night. The next minute, he hooks up with my girl, Sierra.
You trying to say you smashed Keira? Keira Whitaker? I'm saying I know you didn't smash Keira because she's still a virgin.
I beg your pardon? How could you not tell me?
Was I supposed to?
Yes, that's sexual etiquette. You know, maybe I had a great time at the time before I knew what the ramifications were, but now, at this time, I'm not having a great time.
This whole season is riding on Blue. I mean, he feasibly has enough power to get you kicked off of the damn team.
Dude is tripping.
No, you tripping. You betrayed a teammate, okay? You broke the damn code.
We only did it 4 times.
Oh, 3.5. I forgot to tell you thanks for that.
From now on, I'm not backing down from anything I want. And I want you the most.
Did you hear me cheering for you? Because I was so loud, like louder than I was cheering for anybody else. When you're ready for a real sandwich, you know where to come get it.
Keira Whitaker,
Keira Whitaker.
will you marry me?
Will you marry me?
No, I won't, Malik. Now, you're famous.
Derwin Davis. Oh, they come and they go.
Even when you down, you ain't out.
If I were to ask fans of the game to name their favorite pairing or couple from the show, I can assume the main 3 couples would be some of the most common answers, and maybe even a few variations of people within those couples. For example, a lot of people love Jason and Kelly, and a lot more people love Jason and Chardonnay. And Malik has had several girlfriends that fans have latched onto. And then, of course, we have fan favorites, Derwin and Melanie. But a couple I very rarely receive when I ask that question is Blue and Keira. As a matter of fact, I've never heard anyone say that that was their favorite couple. Now, I might actually stumble upon a few people who feel that way, so if that is you and Blue and Keira are your favorite couple, let me know in the comment section below. But for most of us, their arrival was somewhat unwelcome. Not the actors, but the characters, and that's because the cards were stacked against them. They came in to replace fan favorite couple Derwin and Melanie. And I'm saying that as someone who doesn't even like Derwin, but I love Derwin and Melanie. And does it make sense? No. But do I still feel that way? Yes. You have to have them on the game or else the show isn't the game. And for the seasons where they weren't present, and sometimes one or both of them would dip in and out just as like a, hey, love you guys, see you later. It was so amazing, and the chemistry was back, and the energy was back, and the show felt real, and then they would go again, and we were left with our thoughts. Or Blue and Keira, and it was never the same. I have a few ideas as to why Blue and Keira didn't work, and I'm going to share them today, but there were also aspects of Blue and Keira that I enjoyed. They just were never going to be enough to fill the gaping void that was left by the Derwin and the Melanie Barnett Davis, MD. We have a lot to get into, so let's get started. Thank you so much for clicking on my video, and if you're returning, welcome back to my channel. Today, we'll be discussing Blue and Keira, and then we'll also be talking about the other replacement couple that showed up in the Paramount Plus series of the game, Jameson and Britney. And yes, that Britney, Jason's Britney, came back and she was the main character of the show alongside Tasha and Malik. It was really great to see an adult Britney navigating the football world from the business side. They actually had gold with those storylines. We'll get there. And before we get into anything related to the video, I have to say thank you so much for clicking on this video. And if you haven't already, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Congratulations to Sinners on your Oscars win. I've loved that movie since before it came out because the previews let me know that we were in for an amazing time. I still was not prepared for how amazing that movie is. It immediately became my favorite movie, knocking Cooley High off of a 30-year top spot. I did not think any movie would ever top Cooley High for me. It just has so much sentimental value, and Sinners was able to do that. So they kind of share the spot at 1A and 1B. So congrats to everyone involved with Sinners and that amazing movie, and congrats to Michael B. Jordan. You deserve. So right out the gate, I'm gonna ask you to light up the comment section or the live chat if you're watching during the premiere. Do you like Blue and Keira? Did you like Blue as a character? Did you like him in the relationship with Keira? Did you like Keira as a character? And did you like her in the relationship with Blue or with Malik, which is something that happened down the line, or with that random actor she was dating? Did you like this couple on the show? Now, for many of us who've been watching the game since its inception, we're very resistant to new rookie couples, and the reason is that's the main couple. Our entire world regarding the game revolved around Derwin and Melanie. We would also get main storylines from one of the two other main pairings on the show, Jason and Kelly, Tasha, Malik, Derwin and Melanie. But they mostly revolved around Derwin and Melanie, especially season 2 and season 1. But somewhere around season 5, they ran out of stuff to do with Derwin and Melanie. Their relationship stabilized a lot. They got through a lot of their adjustment issues. They were able to co-parent and become a very happy and productive blended family. And some of the storylines they were writing over there at BET were just a bit mundane for this type of couple. So it seems like they ran out of stuff for them to do. I do understand them wanting to bring in some new blood and maybe some fresh faces, and that would have been fine. And that was initially what they were going to do. But when they decided to no longer have Melanie and Derwin as stars of the show and make them be cast members, that was a no-go for the actors, and I do not blame them.
To talk, so I got more info. Remember how I told you that they're adding some characters to the game? You know, they want to reduce you from a series regular to a recurrent as well.
Why?
Add characters, they just have to make space for new stories. It's not unusual. They also want you to come back for a few episodes to kind of wrap up stories.
You don't deserve that. And I'm pretty sure the fans would agree. So I think you're worrying too much.
I know, I am a worrywart.
Give me a hug. It'll all work itself out.
Thanks, brother. You know how they always say when you go out on top? I'm not gonna come back. I've fallen in love with this character, and it's gonna be hard for me to say goodbye to Melanie. She was the best character I've ever played in my entire life. Thanks. Okay, bye.
First of all, you're talking about the main characters of the show for 5 seasons. And now you're not only asking them to share being the stars of the show with new people, but you're actually asking them to take a step down, make less money, and get less screen time for a show they made, they built, they promoted, and they brought back from the dead. The game and BET were out of their rabbit ass minds.
Melanie was such a very well-written character. She was a relatable character. And I think that's why I loved her so much, because I learned from her. I feel so grateful and honored to have portrayed such an amazing woman. And she will always be a part of my life.
I do not blame TiaMowry for saying hell no to that. And I don't blame Pooch Hall for saying hell no to that. I also think BET was just impulsive in the way they brought on these 2 new characters. First of all, it didn't feel like they were fully fleshed out characters. It seems like they wanted certain types of moments. They wanted an enemies to lovers or even a friends to lovers story arc. They had these goals in mind, but they didn't fully flesh out how they were going to write this into an existing story with an existing relationship between all of these people. It felt haphazard, and perhaps Melanie and Derwin were going to be a much bigger role in integrating Blue and Keira. But whatever the case was, BT should have hired writers, or at least allowed their writers to truly flesh out real personalities, real people, real backstories, so that we had well-rounded characters. Blue and Keira were so boring. But let's actually give a little bit of backstory to these two new characters before I completely dismiss them. I don't want to be rude to them, and this has nothing to do with the actors. These were just terrible characters, and there was really not much to like about them. They were tolerable, but for them to be the stars was crazy. And I love that the show shifted focus back to Tasha and Malik because they were the veterans. They were the main stars. And then we also had Jason and Chardonnay's story along with Kelly returning. So we were able to get some of that old blood back into the mix, but it was never the same without Derwin and Melanie. Blue and Keira were very young, and so it looks like the game was trying to reach that young demographic again. Blue was a rookie receiver. He was a #1 draft pick, and he was portrayed by Jay Ellis, who was also an up-and-coming actor at the time. And then Keira was a child star who was famous her whole life for playing a child role, and she was struggling to get Hollywood to see her as an adult, so we see her trying to rebuild her career as a 25-year-old woman. She's portrayed by Lauren London.
Wide receiver, Bryce Westbrook.
Blue, numero uno. How's it feel?
Thank you.
Wow.
You're still stuck in that little 90s sitcom.
Well, I'd never forget it if it was also the day that you hired me to be in your new movie.
I'll give you the part of the shooter.
So I'll basically be an extra.
No money. You gotta start again somewhere, baby.
Fun fact, I find it to be interesting that BET forced, in my opinion, that's what it feels like. They forced Blue and Keira onto the show, and they kind of made them one of, if not the main couple for their first season, which was season 6 on the game. And it didn't feel natural, nor did it feel organic. And I find it to be interesting that this was Lauren London that they were using to do this with. And the reason I find that interesting is because around the same time, Issa Rae is pitching her show, Awkward Black Girl, which would later become Insecure when it became a TV show because it was Awkward Black Girl here on YouTube, which I love. When it was time for Issa to take that show to TV, a studio exec asked Issa Rae to allow Lauren London to take the starring role in Insecure.
Ain't nobody checking for bitter-ass black women anymore.
Now, that is a conversation about colorism if I've ever heard one. Because first of all, love Lauren London down, and she may have been wonderful in that role, but Issa Rae makes Insecure.
Black women aren't bitter. They're just tired of being expected to settle for less.
Insecure is made by Issa Rae. There is no one else who could have portrayed Issa D the same way as Issa Rae, partially because she created the damn show, so it belongs to her and she should absolutely be the main character. But also the fact that no one could have portrayed Issa D the way Issa Rae did. Whether it was her show or not, she portrayed the awkwardness, but also the endearing qualities, and she was funny as hell. That was necessary to make that shtick work as a main character. She was able to convey so many different things, and she made the audience feel seen because she actually is awkward like that. So for so many people who felt like they were never represented, especially in media, because of how awkward we really can be, but also how we're just, some of us can be just typical offbeat women, but because we're Black women, sometimes we're not allowed space to be awkward or uncomfortable or even just quiet. Sometimes we are vilified because we're quiet. There's so many different challenges that we experience, especially as we're coming from early adulthood into adulthood. We go through a lot. And I feel like Issa Rae was able to portray that on screen, partially because she created the show for that purpose, and also because it was her actual lived experience. Lauren London would not have been able to fill those shoes. And even if she would have been able to make it her own and make it great, why did it need to change anyway?
I'm getting a diversity hire vibe. Racially ambiguous, coasting on dimples and baby hair.
So I find it interesting that Issa Rae stuck up for her show and the quality of her creation, which thank God she did, and she was able to nail a classic show right out the gate and have several others follow soon after. Rap shit, I want justice for you. Then on top of that, you have Lauren London actually being put on the game. And I feel like for many of the same reasons, it seems like they were just like, we need a rookie couple and the girl has to be light skinned and the boy has to be super hot and athletic and maybe a little darker than her. That's the formula. Because you have Derwin and Melanie. Melanie is a light-skinned girl. He is a brown, darker-skinned guy. Then you have Keira and Blue, a light-skinned girl, and then you have a brown, darker-skinned guy. And then later we get Britney Pitts, light-skinned girl, dark-skinned guy. Why did we not have any brown skin or dark skinned Black women leading this show at any point? We had brown skinned women. We had some moments where dark skinned girls were there, but they were like the background sunbeams. Sometimes they would be a girlfriend of Malik or just a groupie or just a spectator, etc. But we never had any dark skinned Black girls leading the show. And that is a shame, especially when you are always following three main characters. There's so much room for diversity there. And Brandy is a brown skin girl, but she's already Brandy. While having Brandy is diversity as far as skin tones, it's not diverse enough. And plus, Brandy is a known actress. She's a known singer. She's already famous, and having her on the show brought more eyes. I just feel like that was the draw for Brandy. And I feel like maybe her skin tone was an exception, because for everyone else, you had to be lighter than a brown paper bag. And I'm saying that as a light-skinned woman. It's ridiculous that dark-skinned women can't get the top spots, but they can get the spots of the groupies. Or they can portray the bimbo in the kitchen that Malik has as a fling who doesn't know that when you warm up grease, it's going to get hot and pop once it reaches a certain temperature.
Every time I sprinkle water in the pan, the grease pops. Isn't it weird? Yeah. Ow! That one landed right on my...
You heifers better get the hell out of my damn kitchen!
Like, they allowed dark-skinned women to come on the show to be the comedic relief, or to be made fun of, or to portray a groupie, or to portray a certain stereotype. But as far as having a brown skin or a darker brown skin or a dark-skinned woman portraying a lead, especially as like the bougie rookie princess, which is the kind of the archetype they were going for the main role for the rookie, can have a dark skin or a darker brown skin woman portray that role. She had to be light skinned, and even better if she's biracial. Let's roll. The game had a colorism problem, and I feel like that was only made worse over on BET, if I'm just gonna be real. So I find it to be so interesting that they kind of forced Lauren London on the audience as a main character in this rookie girlfriend role. Then we learn about a studio exec trying to use Lauren London to carry out a colorist agenda when it comes to Issa Rae's show. Issa Rae is a dark-skinned Black woman.
Because it's fucked up.
Don't do this. Don't make this a whole global thing about
I'm upset.
They didn't even realize how much depth would be missed by seeing some of those storylines portrayed by a light-skinned woman. And I don't want to have to get too political, but for anyone to say that we have the same experience in our racist ass culture where proximity to whiteness affords you so many different privileges, it doesn't mean you don't have any problems, because we are still Black and we still have our issues. We still encounter all kinds of systemic racism and barriers, etc. No one is saying that our experience is easy, and it's certainly not saying that we don't have a plight of our own as well as in community with everyone. But there is absolutely something being missed by the fact that a dark-skinned Black woman having the love interest that she had, having the experiences that she has, the assumptions that are made about her because she is a dark-skinned woman, especially a dark-skinned woman with natural hair. There are so many different aspects to her character that hinge itself upon her being dark-skinned, and she's awkward as hell navigating the corporate space and dating, etc.
Why you talk like a white girl? What's up with your hair?
I don't know what you mean.
My cousin can put some tracks in it. Unless you like it like that.
She African. We're all from Africa, guys. I'm torn between the Booker T method and the Du Bois method. What would James Baldwin say is most beneficial for people of color?
What's on fleek?
I don't know what that means.
There was colorism, there was featureism, there was texturism. There were so many different forms of discrimination at play with that mere suggestion. And the fact that people even think that the same show could be made and the depth of that show could be felt with a light-skinned woman, with the show that Issa Rae gave us, especially following up Awkward Black Girl. That exec didn't do his research. He almost didn't get an iconic show because society is obsessed with proximity to whiteness and Eurocentric features, that they were going to allow colorism to destroy what became an epic show that defined a generation, especially at that time in our lives as millennials. Get out of here. Anyway, I don't mean to go on a rant, but that is one of those things that really bothers me. I adore her. None of this is her fault. She is an actress that is getting work, and that is what she's supposed to do. So none of this is Lauren London's fault. They were absolutely using her as a token to perpetuate colorism, especially in situations like Insecure. Now, in this situation, I feel like it was a little bit more broad because she's replacing another light-skinned / biracial woman in TiaMowry. But Tia had been with the show since season 1. And they were looking to replace all of that history, all of that connection with the audience. Tia was the draw for a lot of us. So you mean to tell me that y'all want her to play second fiddle to an actress that I love, but this is not her space? She's welcome to join, but to take over? They set Lauren London up for a huge failure because fans did not take to her in this role. So they already had that working against them. Then the storylines. The storylines they gave Blue and Keira were abysmal. So Blue is, again, #1 draft pick receiver going to the Sabers. He's a hotshot. He has ego issues. His whole life has pretty much been curated for him. He has a military man for a father. He's a military brat. He's got all this adoration. He went to Stanford. There's a lot to this character. He's not your typical jock. He's intelligent. He has a bright future on or off the field. He's highly coveted by a lot of women. A lot of teams wanted him, etc., etc., etc. Endorsements come easy for him. He makes friends easily. He's a hotshot. Then you have Keira, who's at a time in her life, she's 25. That is important because the storylines they gave her, you would think this woman was 15 years old. She's 25. She's been portraying a 14-year-old kid on TV for many, many, many years. Now that she's trying to break out as an adult actress and get more adult roles and really explore her career as an adult woman, she's not getting those roles and those experiences. And so she's essentially trying to navigate her career from a new place in her life. Now she meets Blue in a hotel when it's draft night and they run into each other. And because they speak or they're near each other, people are assuming they're together. And he makes a comment about being famous. She gives him a kiss because she's an actual famous actress. She gives him a kiss, cameras pick it up, and she goes, well, now you're really famous. And so he's not just sports world famous. Now he's really famous. And so they kind of start this back and forth where he's a rookie. He's new in this whole world. He likes Keira. Keira likes him. But Keira actually has a lot of boundaries around herself and other people. Case in point, they wrote her as a virgin. And while that really shouldn't matter, they make it a really big deal. And I guess at 25, I guess that's a big deal. I don't know. I knew plenty of people who made it well into their 20s without having sex. It's not like you're just beating people off with a stick every day. It's like, did you or did you not have sex yet? So? Okay. Have you ever done a plank before? Let's give that a name. If you've never done a plank before, then we need to give that a name. A purgin. If you've never done a squat, we'll give that a squirgin. Like, okay, so she's a virgin. So what? Like, I can't believe they made it such a big deal. But they made her virginity a whole central storyline for her as an adult woman. Now, I can understand in a world like the NFL where things come very easy to these men. People are throwing themselves at these men. And she's also famous and an actress. People can make assumptions about her living a fast life as well. So I kind of get the focus when it comes to that. Like, oh, one might assume XYZ. But the way this became her life is crazy. She and Blue go from haters to friends to lovers, and they kind of keep doing this back and forth where they're on one day, they're off one day, and it's for these very petty reasons. They use other people to make each other jealous. They have several moments where they're like, okay, forget the world, I want to be with you, it's you or nothing, Blue or bust, Keira or bust. And it's just this, okay, like, I guess I wasn't into it, but I'm also in my 30s, so that wasn't a storyline I cared about. It felt very much like, okay, and this felt very high school. It felt like what they really wanted was a teen drama, and they put it on a show about adults. That's really what it felt like. But the fact that her virginity became such a big deal was also a turnoff for me, because they objectified this woman at every turn, and they used her virginity as almost like a golden ticket. And the way they made Malik protective over her virginity when he was just her friend was also
Keira,
weird.
come on. Tell me you ain't let dude crack that. You was a virgin. Probably one of the last ones left. Are you saying she didn't tell you she was a virgin?
No, man, that's my point.
Are you kidding me?
He is her first at 25 years old. Blue was not aware of this. Malik, why the hell do you care? So Malik and Blue have tension around this time because Malik's career is kind of on the decline. He has issues with the owner. His bad decisions in the past are finally catching up to him, and his star is fading. Blue is a rising star, and people are excited about him. As a matter of fact, one person tells Keira, "Oh, you're from San Diego? Your football team just got that guy Blue. Maybe y'all get another championship." So people are putting a lot on Blue. He must have been an excellent college player. So now we have Blue coming in. He is now the franchise player, to my understanding. And then he's also the natural team leader. Malik has always been the team leader after Jason. So Malik is not adjusting to this well either. It is very contentious between all of them. It doesn't help that Derwin also fought Blue. So it's just a lot of drama. So Malik doesn't like Blue. So the moment he hears any opportunity to argue with Blue about something, it seems like he's apt to take it. Someone else's virginity is just not something that concerns me all that much. So that's just a me thing. But as far as Blue, he finds out Keira's a virgin. He goes and he confronts her about it.
Keira, was that your first?
Yes. I thought guys loved virgins.
Yeah, junior high guys and terrorists.
Well, why are you tripping? If Malik hadn't told you, you wouldn't have known.
Yeah, but he did tell me, and I do know. Being your first, I mean, do you even know the kind of pressure that is on a dude? I'm already under enough pressure with football. I don't need anything extra on my plate.
After this conversation is not going anywhere.
Keira, that's not what I was...
No. You had your chance to speak. Now it is my turn. After 25 years, I share with you my most cherished and prized possession. And you turn into something ugly and self-centered and all about you. And let me tell you something since we're on the subject of you, douche. You pursued me!
He's like, how could you not tell me this? And he overreacts, in my opinion. I fully expect a man in his early 20s to act like a complete dingbat when it comes to things like this. He is very immature, and this is a moment that shows how immature he is. I didn't say he didn't have a point, but the way he behaves and reacts to her is very immature. There was zero sensitivity, zero consideration for her feelings, or even just zero decorum. He just unloaded all these random assumptions and fears onto her, and she's just like, what the hell? Where did all this come from? I'm not clinging on to you. And I loved her response to this. She said, oh, you don't have to worry about me clinging on. You don't even have to worry about staying here for the night. You need to go. And she kicked him right on out. I know that's right. That would have been the ultimate ick. But also, let's backtrack. Let me call Keira to the carpet a little bit on this. First of all, grown people arguing about virginity is new for me. I've never seen anything like this. So you'll excuse me if I'm just at a loss for words in some of these moments, because I'm sitting here like, why are you leading conversations and connections with the fact that you're a virgin? Or just anything regarding your body or sexuality? It almost feels like objectification. Like, you liked me before, wait till you find out I'm a virgin. Girl, what the hell? Why are you... That is not anybody's business outside of your sexual partners. Now, I am a person who fully believes in full disclosure when it comes to any kind of intimacy to a certain extent. While I feel Blue was immature when he brought up her being too clingy and not wanting that much pressure, I do understand his feelings. I just don't think that was the right time to share that, nor was it the right delivery. But something else he shared as a concern stood out to me, and it told me a lot about Blue's character. When he said, "Why didn't you tell me you'd never had sex before? I would have changed my approach. I would have been more gentle with you." That said a lot to me. One, it said that he really did care about Keira. It wasn't just about conquering her as a conquest, although there are things he says later that makes me wonder if he felt some sense of ownership over her because he was her first intimate partner. However, when he mentioned that, I actually saw that to be kind of redeemable, because the whole conversation around, you're going to be clingy, blah, 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 that was a huge put off to me. But the moment he said, I would have changed my approach for you, I feel like how unfair for her to not at least prepare him for this experience when he was prepared for a different experience. I don't think she was intentionally dishonest, but I do think it was dishonesty by omission. And that's also just as bad. I also do understand her being reluctant to share that because people might have an adverse reaction, but that does not excuse not sharing it. Again, everybody doesn't need to know her status, her virginal status. I feel like that's her personal business. But if you are being intimate with someone, I feel like at that point, there is, in my opinion, there should be disclosure about what you have and haven't done as far as it relates to this person, because that does change the experience he is having. If you haven't been with someone long enough for them to know that you have or have not had sex before, it's probably too soon to be sleeping together in general. I feel like if they had been together longer and they had spent more time together and they had gotten to know each other better, that is something that would have come up at some point, especially since it seemed to lead the conversation she was having with everyone else. So for Blue to not know was actually kind of surprising, because it seemed like that was the first thing people wanted to talk about when it came to Keira. But I also think they wrote her character this way to kind of show just how sheltered she had been. Because she had been in Hollywood for so long, because she had been an actress for so long, she missed out on a lot of pivotal moments as a young person that would have helped define her life as an adult. So she was playing catch up, and it seemed like being a late bloomer might have been something that was holding her back from connecting with other adults in her age range in the past. And she didn't want to allow that to continue to hold her back moving forward. That is still not an excuse. If you are with a person who you don't feel like you can be honest and open with, perhaps that is not a person that you are ready to be intimate with, because they are entitled to information that changes their experience. They are entitled to information that helps them make an informed decision. If he had decided, I don't want to sleep with a virgin for whatever reason, he's welcome to make that decision for himself. And her omission changed his experience, but it also was a blind side. While I don't agree with his delivery or his reaction, I do understand it. And I do understand the frustration associated with sleeping with someone who you realize held something that to you is a big deal, and they held that back from you. No one wants to be intimate with someone they feel is lying to them or hiding things from them or being sneaky, especially something that was so pivotal for them throughout their whole life. It'd be different if she was like, I just never got around to having sex. I just completely forgot. It's not a big deal to me. I don't care. I feel like had she had a laissez-faire approach to it, maybe he would have been like, oh, this isn't a big deal for you. Then maybe I'll relax. It's just a big deal for me. But the fact that it's clear it was something she held very tightly and she held it very close to the vest, and this was a big defining trait of hers, I feel like that made it that much more important to him as well. And as we heard him describe, what's important to you is important to me. You should have informed me so that I could change my approach. I agree with him on that. Then of course, Keira, there are so many moments where the show intentionally infantilizes her. The show is trying to portray her as an innocent because, again, she's lived a very sheltered life and she's a late bloomer. But I feel like they punched that a little bit too much, because there are moments where she's not a young adult who's just inexperienced. They actually have her portray what I see as just a child. And it is really awkward to watch a person who's portraying a child. I'm just being honest. She doesn't come off as an adult in some of these scenes. There are some scenes where she's outright acting like a whole kid, not an immature adult, but a kid, where she's speaking in a baby voice, but having conversations about sex. And it almost feels there's a big problem with Hollywood. And a lot of that is coming out now. And I think a lot of people have a lot of desires that they like to put into their art and their creations. And I feel like this portrayal, the way they have her ham up this childlike quality of hers, not immature adult, not inexperienced adult, not late bloomer, but these very childlike behavior. Like,
I expected you to be happy for me. It's Woody Allen, you know. Kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
He's got a life-changing role in a Woody Allen film. Is it okay if I do it?
Perfect.
all of it just feels like watching a child play dress up like a grown-up. And it's off-putting because they have this character also having sex. There's also this one moment where her co-star is at her house and they start making out and she's no longer comfortable with it. And so she goes to the bathroom and she calls Blue and is like, can you come downstairs and interrupt this date? It's getting out of hand and I don't want to sleep with him. And Blue is like, you don't want to sleep with him, so you call me? And she was like, yes, I don't know how to end this and blah, blah, blah. So at one point, Blue is like teasing her like, oh, you wanted to sleep with him to make me jealous and now you're in a situation, blah, blah, blah. He's kind of teasing her and she goes, you know what? You're right. I need to be a grown woman and go handle my business. What? You were a grown woman when you decided that you didn't want to continue, and you would have been a grown woman had you said, I want this to stop, and just said it just like that. You don't have to be witty. You don't have to have any kind of repartee. You don't have to be slick at the mouth, and you don't have to have all kind of puns and jokes, and you don't have to have this fluid way of speaking. You don't have to be fancy. You can simply say, I don't want to do this anymore. I think we should stop. Let's stop. Give me a second. I need a moment. And let that be that. No is a full sentence. You can simply say, no. And if you are in an intimate moment with someone and you don't know how to tell them when you no longer want to continue, you don't know that person, or y'all don't have enough respect for each other, or at least y'all haven't been around each other enough for you to be doing anything intimate with them. Because if someone is in your personal space, and if you think enough of someone to be having some kind of physical contact with, you should be at a certain level of comfort to tell them no. And in my opinion, you don't have to be comfortable. You don't have to like anybody. You should be able to tell anybody no at any time, no matter what. It doesn't make you immature for saying no to something. When you don't want to do something, at the first sign that I actually don't want to, then don't. Unless it's a 100% yes, then it's a no. If you have to convince yourself, it's a no. They keep having a back and forth, and then Blue finally decides that he wants to be with Keira, so he proposes to her. They decide not to get married, but they do decide to keep dating. They move in together. It's a whole thing. And then she starts spending more time with Malik. She realizes that they actually have a lot of chemistry. They fall in love. This creates tension for Blue and Malik because Blue can clearly tell that Keira and Malik like each other. And so this ends in them fighting on an elevator. Blue and Keira break up. Keira and Malik get together. They date on and off because there are several moments where Malik is trying to deny his feelings for Keira, and he's trying to keep the chemistry on the team intact. So he says certain things to Blue that implies that he doesn't really like Keira like that, and he downplays his relationship with her, which she overhears. She gets pissed and she's like, I don't need either one of you. She goes on about her business. This is the one time that I'm like, yes, ma'am, move on from this world. You're doing too much. And then on top of that, Malik realizes that he's ready to retire, start a family, live a quiet life, and marry someone, and he happens to be in love with Keira. So what does he do in the last episode of season 9? He proposes to Keira by doing the same thing he did to Jenna. He set up a fake movie set, or a fake movie. He offers to fund her a movie. He buys her 3 new cars. He has all these animals everywhere, all the things that she loves and likes, and then he proposes to her. She tells him no. When he was trying to get Jenna back, he set up a fake photo shoot, fake photographer, fake makeup artist, made her feel like she'd actually booked the job because she was trying to build her modeling career back up. And then he uses that time to try to get her back, and she denies him. Malik, stop playing with people's jobs. That's probably the best lesson I can leave you with. Leave people's jobs alone when you are trying to court them. But Keira is over it. She was not okay with how she was spoken about. The whole show, from season 6 to season 9, the show objectified Keira and her virginity the whole time. It was the only thing people cared about with her, was who she was and wasn't having sex with, and when is it my turn. That was essentially the whole story of Keira on the show. So they end the show by Keira deciding to invest time in herself, stop looking for love, and she allegedly does this movie with Michael B. Jordan. And the spectator is like, or the reporter is like, so rumors are that you are dating your co-star Michael B. Jordan. And she was like, no, we're good friends. And they went on about their business. But something I did find interesting is that Lauren London and Michael B. Jordan did star opposite each other in a very good movie, Tom Clancy's Without Remorse. It's on Amazon Prime. It's one of my favorite movies. It is one of my big comfort movies. I love that movie so much. And Michael B. Jordan is so good in that movie. I wanted that to be a long running series so bad. It did not get the love it deserved. That is such a good movie. Anyway, they start opposite each other in that movie as well. So I thought that was so funny. Maybe they were in talks or already shooting that movie at this time. I don't know, but I thought it was so cute that they mentioned it. And then, of course, they went on to do a movie in real life together. That is the end of Blue and Keira. When the show comes back, and it's now on Paramount Plus, Blue and Keira don't return. Melanie and Derwin don't return. But we do get another rookie couple. We only get Tasha Mack, Malik Wright, and Jason Pitts. Those are the only returners to the show. Oh, and TT, excuse me. Our main girl in the Paramount Plus series is Britney Pitts, Jason's daughter. And we learned that Britney is essentially a scammer. It's not really a scammer. She's just really bad with money. She keeps over leveraging herself, trying to keep up with her very rich friends. And because she likes living with high rollers and living amongst high rollers, and she grew up a spoiled brat, essentially, she wants to keep up a certain image with her friends and keep living a certain lifestyle. Well, she starts taking out loans and leasing apartments and leasing cars in her parents' names without them knowing. Well, she's doing it in her own name, but she's forging their signatures as co-signers. So when we meet Britney, she is deep in debt. Her condo in Miami is in foreclosure. She is hawking off Hall of Fame items from her dad's career to maintain her lifestyle. She had a successful business. It was like a concierge business for very rich people. But during the pandemic, it destroyed her business and she had trouble getting back on track. Now, she is a college graduate, but they also give us a few flashbacks to let us know Britney has been hustling like this for a long time. I find it to be interesting that the daughter of a man with financial trauma who did not teach financial literacy, he only taught scarcity saving methods, became a scammer and a person who's bad with money. What you don't teach, people will be forced to learn on their own. And so she learned a lot of these money lessons the hard way because her dad didn't teach her. He intimidated her with money. He scared her with money and he withheld money. So when she came into the world, she had no idea how to use money. Anyway, so we see her relocating to Las Vegas so she can take a job with Tasha Mack as her assistant. She takes this job, she moves in with a good friend of hers, and she's still trying to get these side hustles and these side businesses off the ground. And some of them she's able to get off the ground. For example, a club in the stadium for home games that operates in the end zone. So when touchdowns are made in the end zone, the spectators who pay enough to get into this club can see it. It's a pretty cool idea. And I wonder if any stadiums have actually used this idea. But anyway, she goes in on this business and she uses Tasha's good name and her connections to get this business off the ground. And because Tasha has already warned her several times about her deceptive nature, she finds out about it, takes the club and makes Britney start from the bottom as a hostess. As a matter of fact, she didn't want Britney working there at all. But Britney decided to start from the bottom as a hostess and build Tasha's trust over time. So we also have a rookie named Jameson. Jameson Fields is this young rookie. He had a bright future ahead of him, but after spending prom night with his girlfriend, her dad doesn't know where she is. When her dad finds her, he essentially says that Jameson R-worded her. When we know it was consensual, the young lady said it was consensual. They were both each other's first, but the dad is clearly racist. And so because Jameson is Black, he calls the police. Jameson goes to jail for 2 years and it kind of derails his experience, his football experience. When he comes out of jail, he starts trying to get back into the NFL, but in order to make ends meet, he has to strip, which is where he meets Britney because he strips at a club that Britney's friend works at. Britney knows all about football, so when she sees him, she's like, oh my God, Jameson, your career is going to get back on track. It's a shame what happened to you. And so they end up running into each other a lot because Tasha starts managing Jameson's comeback. And so she's around Britney a lot because Britney is her assistant. So him and Britney start to kind of connect a little bit. And Britney shows him a lot of compassion, whereas most people judge him because they don't know the full story. Britney, being an insider in this world, she knows that he really didn't do anything wrong. He also reaffirms what happens to her, what happened between him and the girlfriend to Britney. So she's able to really stick by him and they build a really strong connection. It doesn't change the fact that once Jameson finally does get his shot in the NFL, the team goes on strike, creating so much conflict for him because he has to survive. He doesn't have anyone to help him. His mom is strung out on drugs. I don't think he knows his dad very well, or if he does, they don't have a relationship. But it seems like his dad might not be alive and his mom is on drugs. So it's just him living out of his car. He starts living with Malik, who offers him a hand up. He helps him get on his feet. And then once he's on the team, now he can kind of have his own home. He has his own car. He's living better. Then the team goes on strike. So he crosses the picket line against Britney's advice. He ends up being ostracized from his team and we kind of meet him in conflict. Then he takes Britney out on a date to skate. They go skating. He hurts himself, but he doesn't want to tell the team that he hurt himself skating. So he tells them that he was just doing some extra cardio and he's trying to hide his injury. So he starts taking pills that are not prescribed to him. One night when he takes these pills, he gets really drowsy while driving and wrecks his car. He's in a coma for an episode or two. Once the police report was filed about his car wreck, it revealed that he had substances in his system, these painkillers that weren't prescribed to him. So he ends up getting arrested for violation of parole, and that is where his story ends. So that is where the show leaves off. We never really know what happens after that because the show didn't come back for a third season. But Jameson and Britney, I actually like them a lot more as a replacement couple than Blue and Keira. She was part of his world. She wasn't his whole world. And they didn't just make their relationship or their physical intimacy a storyline. They had moments, but that wasn't their story. They actually had depth. I prefer this couple over Blue and Keira. They had real chemistry. Keira was such a sleepy character. Keira was always in pajamas or laying around her house or in the bed or on the couch or just at somebody's house. We never really saw Britney at home. She was at home from time to time, but when she was at home doing a business plan. She was at home making phone calls. She was at home building her career. She wasn't at home waiting on no man. That was Keira's whole story, was gotta go home so my man can come. It was just like, okay, this is such a boring character. And after all the storylines we've seen cycle through the game, they completely dropped the ball with Blue and Keira, and by proxy, Malik as well, because Malik getting in a couple's relationship regarding the woman's virginity is so bizarre. Now, we did talk about Malik's character in his video, and we did discuss that he feels like vulnerable women are his responsibility. And while on one level, I can understand him feeling protective of his friend, I just feel like a grown man of the age of 35 wouldn't, or 32, I think, wouldn't give a damn about what his other female friend was doing consensually with her body. I just don't see that mattering to that extent. He might even question her decisions or have discuss it with her. But as far as him confronting the dude, it just seemed so bizarre. I didn't agree with it. Anyway, so as far as my opinion, my favorite couple as far as the replacements was absolutely Britney and Jameson. They deserved so much more than 2 seasons, and we deserved more than having them end on a cliffhanger. As far as Blue and Keira, while I like the actors in several other things, I did not like them in these roles, and I also found their character development to be very stunted. Now, they were very young characters, so I'm going to cut them some slack. They were both under 25, or at least under 27, so they had a lot more development to go through. They had a lot more experiences to have, and they were new in this world. So I will cut them some slack. They just weren't entertaining to watch. And while they were new in this world, that is a prime opportunity to write them storylines that resonate with the audience who is not likely in this world. So there was so much relatable content that could have been garnered through these characters as newbies in this world that was just left on the table in favor of, let's talk about virginity again. A grown-ass woman. And chances are the people watching these shows are adults. We don't care about somebody losing their virginity. Like, no offense, it's just not a storyline that you're going to come across when the main characters on your show are in their late 20s. I just feel like maybe that storyline would have fared better on another show. Blue and Keira, you tried. Britney and Jameson all the way. But above everybody else is Melanie and Derwin. That's the original rookie couple. That is the couple we cared about. They never should have been written off the show. Whatever BET had to do to keep Tia and Pooch, they should have done 10 times over because the show absolutely suffered from it. It was wonderful having Brandy. It was great having Kelly back. All the characters are amazing. Anytime you have Tasha Mack, you're going to have my eyes. That's for sure. But at the end of the day, there is only one Derwin and Melanie. Or should I say the Merwin, according to Jerome. We're going to do the Merwin. So those are my thoughts. Derwin and Melanie's supremacy. Blue and Keira is a no for me, dog. Jameson and Britney, y'all were off to a great start, and Paramount Plus just got you up out of here. So we'll never really know. Those are my thoughts. Y'all let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Did you like Blue and Keira? Did you like Britney and Jameson? And if you had your preference between one or the other, which would you choose? Also, a big part of my issue is how Keira was portrayed. So if you could have had Blue or Keira portrayed by any other actors, and if you could have had them have different storylines, what would you have wanted? What would you have wanted to see, and who would you have wanted to see in those roles? Let me know in the comment section below. I'm really curious as to what y'all think. That's all I have for y'all. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and I will see y'all next time.